and small Phytophagous wasps of the superfamily Chalcidoidea, about Chalcid Wasps, which I am keeping in my laboratory for the investigation. So this story is devoted to this tiny, not parasitic wasp, but Phytophagous wasps. They are wasps because they are belonging to the order Hymenoptera, but they are not biting, they are not stinging, because they are Phytophagous. They are pretty small, just only 3 millimeters size, and they are very specific. They are developing inside plants. What means Phytophagous? Yes, they have trophical relations with plants, and to be precise, with different parts of plants. Different Phytophagous insects developing in roots, in stems, in galls, in plants, in different seeds, in fruits. So these interesting insects belonging to Chalcid wasps and superfamily Chalcidoidea, and they are developing inside seeds. Seeds which are inside fruits. And who are these insects? These funny insects, these interesting insects, they are belonging to the genus Megastigmus. Megastigmus. I can increase a little bit size of picture so you can recognize that they are different. Oh, you're right. I can change the color. That's much better because it needs to make some kind of manipulation with light. Very good. And I can change also the zoom. And I'm doing translation. So you can see here yellow-colored Chalcid wasps of a family Megastigmidae. Now this family is separate from family Taurimidae. Previous name was Taurimidae, now Megastigmidae, and this is genus Megastigmus. You see many insects are here inside glass tubes because I selected them, I sorted them, and I collected them just after the emergence from seeds. From seeds inside fruits of Rosa rugosa, dog rose seeds. I collected just it in my field yard, near my building. I collected maybe 1 kilo of different fruits. I collected it in February, about 2 months ago, and I kept it in warm conditions. So now these insects already decided that now it's time for emergence. Of course, in the wild, you cannot find them because they emerged in laboratory. It's too early for them to fly around because today was just temperature was 10 Celsius degree, pretty cold, and they have no food outside because after emergence they need to feed somewhere on flowers, and after that they need to lay eggs. You can recognize that these tiny insects, they have a long tail like a tiny stick, and this is not a stick on the top of the body. This is ovipositor. This is very tiny ovipositor, which is close in evolutionary relations to sting in aculeata, but this is ovipositor which is not stinging. The ovipositor is used to lay eggs inside host. Inside host is insect or inside host is host plant. So these insects, these females, they are laying eggs inside seeds of dog rose or wild rose. So they need to penetrate skin of fruit of rose plant and lay egg inside fruit. When? Little bit later, in May, in June, after flowering of flowers of dog rose. Now it's too early. They emerged in laboratory conditions. But they were overwintering inside old fruits of dog rose. Inside old fruits of very common plant. Wild rose, which you can find everywhere, in your courtyard, in a garden, in steppe region, in forest, in semi-steppe region, in steppe region too, in mountains, near rivers. Wild rose plants were growing everywhere around in many places in Palearctic region, in the Arctic region, in Africa, South America, and even in Australia and in Indonesian region as well. So, if you can collect seeds or just totally fruits of wild rose and keep them in laboratory conditions, what's happening? Firstly, fruits of wild rose need to dry. They will be drying slowly during the autumn time, during winter time. Otherwise, they will be ripening and damaged. So when they dry, you can easily store these dry fruits of wild rose somewhere in boxes, in jars, in packages during winter time. And inside these old fruits of wild rose, someone is developing some insects like these, small eaters, seed-feeding insects. Small Chalcid Wasps are developing larvae of this interesting Megastigmus genus. They are sitting inside each fruit. See, not each fruit, but in many fruits they are developing. And one individual is developing in one seed of wild rose. So they are overwintering as larvae inside fruits, and then they're pupating in springtime. And already when it's going to be warm, in warm time, in May, in June, in precise period of time, just before development of big fruits of dog rose, after blossoming of dog rose, these insects are hatching from old fruits and flying around on rose plants. Why they are flying? Because they are searching for green fruits of dog rose, and they will lay eggs inside fruits. So, and the cycle will be continuing from one year to another year. So, larvae is developing again during the whole year, then over winter, and waiting for the next season. So, only once in a year, only in the springtime, in May, in June, you can find these interesting insects in a wild condition, in a wild environment, natural environment. But these funny insects were just imaged in laboratory. Again, the size of body is 2 millimeters, and blown ovipositor, the stick on the top of body, about 1 millimeter. And genus Megastigmus. Why Megastigmus? Because if you are carefully watching insects, you can recognize that insects, they have black spot on stigma on wings, black spot on each wing. So this is a stigma, enlarged part of on the top of a marginal vein, which is named stigma. So with 2 black spots on wings. Each wing has one stigma, which is big in some species, sometimes smaller, sometimes bigger, but genus is Megastigmus. If you carefully collecting fruits of dog rose after winter on your dog rose, you can find these insects also in your personal material, in your personal collection. You can collect dog rose fruits, keep them in a jar, and just wait for a few days, for a few weeks, at least not more than 1 month now, because now it's April and you can expect emergence of these insects somewhere in May and June. So try to go to forest, try to go to your courtyard and watch for wild rose fruits. Collect the rose fruits in glass jars, in plastic jars, close it carefully with some cotton for ventilation, for breathing insects inside fruits, and wait for 1 month. And in this season, you can collect these very interesting insects which were developing during the whole winter inside seeds. And you will have such interesting material as I have here in this translation. See how many of them. I collected them separately to study their morphological variation, to find here males, to find the difference between different species which are developing sometimes on the same rose plant. So if you are living somewhere in country which is not in Europe, or in America, in Australia, in Africa, in Asia, you can find very interesting material. Maybe in your country nobody didn't collect these insects, never collected. So even if you will be in United States, in Canada, in Australia, in Africa, or in Europe, or in Palearctic region, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzia, I have a lot of material from Kyrgyzia, Kazakhstan, and they are all different. One subspecies is described as Megastigmus rosa kandarica, collected in Kandara. So even in mountains, there are some plants of dog rose, different species of dog rose. So different species of these interesting Phytophagous wasps developing in different species of plants, in different seeds, in different fruits. Try to collect fruits. Try to collect them in your region, in your country. And you can make interesting discovery. And if you are interested in collaboration, in description of maybe new species, in discovery, in the first discovery of this insect in your region, in your country, contact with me. We can describe them and publish scientific publication about these interesting insects, which you will be the first naturalist who collected these insects in your country, in your region. And it will be quite interesting. Maybe if you are in Britain, or you are in Thailand, if you are in South America or in South Africa, different species can be collected, identified, prepared for investigation, and used for scientific publication. So contact with me on email and try to collect these insects just for curiosity, for fun, and for scientific purpose. And scientific purpose, it means scientific publication. So and you can see how many of them. You can easily store them in glass tubes, just dry, and you can send them in glass tubes or in plastic tubes or in alcohol to my laboratory for investigation and for identification. It will be quite interesting to study your country, to study your material, and use it for scientific publication. Was it interesting for you? Was it surprising how to receive many insects just from their simple, very common plant like wild rose? Write in comments if you have seen fruits of dog rose in your courtyard, in your village, in your country. And if you can collect them, it will be quite interesting. Try to collect them for curiosity, for scientific interest, for scientific publication. contact me by email. Thank you for your attention. And these are not ants, these are tiny parasitoids. To be precise, tiny Phytophagous Chalcid Wasps. When I will have colony of ants, I will be very pleased to show you translation of ants also from my laboratory. But this will be in next video. Thank you, Richard, for attention, for interest. Write your comments and ask your questions. Which insects you have not seen before? I hope so. You've never seen these interesting insects yourself, because they are small, they live in hidden place, and it needs some efforts to find them. But as I explained in my video, it's quite easy to find them, to collect them, and even to make discovery. And you can see how interesting they are. The size is 2 mm size with ovipositor 1 mm size. And they will be used for morphological investigation, for study, and will be mounted in scientific collection. Thank you for your attention. Good luck, see you soon on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, press like, write your comments, ask your questions, and visit my Patreon page. Good luck, see you soon on my channel. Bye bye. Subscribe. Good luck.